So I spent the last half an hour talking to myself thinking I was recording and it turns out I wasn't, so that's a bit of a shame. Hi guys, how's it going? How you guys doing? Welcome back to another video, and today I'm going to be talking about some products that I've decided to declutter. I'm not doing one of those massive declutters or going for my entire collection because I'm at a point where I actually enjoy everything that I have, or I like what I have and I want to use it. The only issue I have is like kind of rotating everything through, but I do like what I have. I have this box of products I've decided to declutter. There's not that much in here, but there is still enough in here to, like, for me to be happy that I've let go of some things that I know I'm never going to use again. Now, some of these is because it's expired. Some of these are just because I no longer feel interested in them. So it's a bit of like a mix of the two. The first product I really want to talk about is this e.l.f. Halo Glow Liquid product. Now, this is very obviously a dupe for Charlotte Tilbury. We all know that. It's fine. The thing that I have an issue with this product is it stinks. And when you know, and when you smell that chemical smell from like foundations or other liquid products, you know that smell is disgusting. It's very strong and it's very, very heavily chemically. And you know, sometimes you can look past that smell, except it's not worth it because not only was this expired and it stank, it started to break me out, and I've decided that I'm just gonna let it go because it's not worth the risk. I've used up like half the product, as you can see, and you know, that's pretty good progress, but I don't want to keep a product that reeks really badly and is breaking me out. I only see regret buying two, and the only reason I bought two is because I felt like shade 2 and shade 3, like neither one was like the perfect shade for me, and like shade 1 would have been way too light for me anyway. It's like I just picked out those two shades and like tried to figure it out, and turns out neither one of them I like the best, but it's fine. Like shade 2 was still very like usable, but the issue that I was having with this product is it's definitely glowy and it doesn't give you coverage. I'm very acne prone. I've got acne scarring, I've got acne pigmentation, and I've got like sebaceous filaments, blackheads all over my face. There's a lot of like texture and like a lot of like issues with my skin that I have. So if I was to just use this product on its own and kind of like do the rest of my makeup, so use this as a foundation and then go ahead with the rest of my makeup, it's not going to work for me at all. It's not going to give me the coverage that I want. I feel like, and on top of that, even though the glow factor is great, my skin is oily anyway, so I couldn't even use this as like a product on its own. So, and I have tried it on its own and it just wasn't like the best look ever. Like my makeup did not look good that day, and I can tell you I've tried it several times and it just wasn't working for me. I think this definitely works for people who have much like less sort of like concerns with their skin like I do with mine. And I just feel like that's if, and I've seen people use it who've got like very clear skin, and this product definitely works a lot better on the people like that can definitely use it as like a foundation. It's not going to really show up much, and it's going to look more like a skin sort of on their skin than it did for me. So I feel like it was just like a waste of product. I also don't like the additional step of having to do this underneath my foundation and then going in with foundation anyway. I feel like it's a bit silly, and I'm very lazy when it comes to my base. And because I'm also very oily, I don't want to do too many products underneath my foundation because I have a high risk of like my foundation kind of like the oils kind of like seeping through, and that's just like really frustrating. So yeah, there's like those are different issues I have with this foundation, or like whatever the hell this is supposed to be and however you want to use it. By no means do not let me deter you from using it as a foundation if you were, or even as like a highlighter, but yeah, it's an expired product. It's just gonna go. Would I repurchase it again? No. Do I recommend it? No. If you wanted to give it a try, absolutely fine, but it's just not something I can necessarily recommend. I do think this was like way overhyped to what this was, and I feel like it's the same thing with the Charlotte Tilbury, like the OG product of this, or the OG. So yeah, I think that's just like my opinion on it, and it's fine if you've got a completely different one. My auntie, she loves this. She uses all the time. Like she actually uses this as like a foundation, and it works beautifully on her, and it sits so well on her skin. But because of my skin concerns and textures and stuff, it doesn't work the same for me. So I would just be very mindful of that when you decide to buy this. So yeah, that was like very long-winded, but yeah. Next, I just want to talk about these few products that I've decided to declutter. These are all my eyeliners that I've decided to let go of, and the only reason I'm actually letting go of these is because they have expired. Now, my eyes are very sensitive to makeup, especially eyeliners. So if a product is expired, my eyes will start to get cloudy, watery, and sting in like the worst case scenario. And that's when I know like shit, like I need to take this off like straight away. The problem with these was that I've had these for so long and they have definitely expired. Now I think I've had these since maybe during or before COVID, so it's a long time, and these have been open for such a long time. But these are my absolute favorite formula. I think this is absolutely amazing. For £5 with Berry M, you cannot go wrong. They had a bunch of different shades. I've got the red, the green, and the light blue here, but they definitely had like a dark blue. They've got pink that was beautiful. They've got I think they've got a yellow. There's a couple of other shades in between, but I highly recommend this. It's such a good formula and it glides really easily on your waterline, and it's definitely vibrant. I've never really had an issue with this whenever I would use it. It was definitely a really good, easy product to use. It's easy to sharpen, which I think is also like a factor that some people do consider when they buy pencils like this. So it is literally a pencil. So yeah, it was a good product. Literally this one I used in my Beetlejuice lip video. It worked really well as like a lip liner, but again, I don't feel like I'm going to do that look or anything that creative in a really long time. And even though I would like to use it as an eyeliner, it's expired, so I can't use it on my eyes, and after I use it on my lips, I'm not going to use it on my eyes anyway. So yeah, if I could recommend an eyeliner formula, this would be one of the three one of the top two I would really recommend, because it's that good. And for £5, I don't really think you can go like wrong with that at all. It's also going to be on sale at some point anyway. Superdrug always has a sale. Berry M sometimes have their sales. There's always like student discounts available, and these are like easily available in several different places. So yeah, I would really recommend these if you wanted to get into like colourful liners and you don't know where to start. Berry M is a good place for you to start at. Next two that I have, one is from Elf and it's a brown one. Another one is from Colourpop. The Elf products, they're not too bad, but again, as I mentioned in the old one, in the previous product, they expire really quickly, and my eyes are really sensitive. This is like a thicker sort of like crayon that you can use. People use it as, you can use it in multiple ways is the thing about this product, which makes it really good because you can use it as like eyeshadow stick, you can use it as like a eyeliner, you can use it in your waterline as well, or like underneath as well. So there's multiple ways for you to use this, which is great. But this is like slightly glittery, and again it started to get to the point of expiration, and it made my eyes really watery and uncomfortable to the point I couldn't actually like keep my eyes open. So like I had to take this off, and that's always like a cue that this product has expired and it needs to go. Our products are not bad, but unless you're going to use them back to back and consistently till it goes, great. If you're going to be someone like me who's got a bigger collection, who kind of rotates through a lot of like different liners and different products, I don't necessarily recommend Elf, because their products do have a like tendency to expire very quickly. So that's just what I'd say on that. The other formula that I highly recommend is from Colourpop, and it's their cream gel liners, and it's specifically the cream gel liners. These are the ones that you would want to get. These are very vibrant. Again, unfortunately Colourpop is not available in the UK. You can obviously like have it, you can order it and have it delivered, but it does cost a little bit more because you've got to pay duties and taxes and stuff like that, unfortunately. But this is another fantastic formula. These are not that expensive, and if you really did want to invest in like a good product, this is definitely it. I love this because it's so easy to use. It's sort of like one of those wind up ones, which honestly is not bad, and I've had so much fun using these. I still have a few left in my collection that have not yet expired, and I'm trying to kind of like focusing on using those for the next couple of months. We'll see how that goes. But again, this and the Berry M formula are the two that I highly recommend. I'm decluttering because I have like duplicates of it already. Is this from Give Me Glow? This is the Wicked Trio Lip Bundle. I love this colour. I think it's really fun and beautiful, but I already have several of this particular product already. I've got like I think 2 of the liquid lipsticks, 2 of the, maybe 1 or 2 glosses. And I think I've got a few of the lip liners already in this shade. So I don't feel like I need another one of these. Also, I don't ever see myself finishing up an entire like purpley sort of product like this. And I don't really want it to just sit around and get wasted. So I'll see if my mum wants it. If not, I'll just like try to sell it somewhere, because I did only buy it not that long ago. And yeah, I don't need so many multiples of the same product, you know? I forgot to mention this Colourpop stick in the shade Fave Things. The reason I'm decluttering this is because the formula on these was absolutely disgusting. These dried out so fast, it's actually insane. And I got these on sale, and I think I've not really gotten much use out of any of them, and most of them are just constantly just getting decluttered, and that's it. So this is such a big flop and waste of money, but that's also getting trashed. Then I've used, well, not used up, but I'm getting rid of 2 lip balms. These are both from Illamasqua. This is the Amy Winehouse one. This is in the shade Black, but this stinks and I hate it. I'm not going to use it on my lips. So I've decided to just get rid of it. I thought it'd be really cool because it's a black like lip balm, and I was like, okay, that's kind of cool, because sometimes you don't really have like that many great products that are like in the specific color of black that you want. Sometimes you want a more opaque look, sometimes you want something that's more like not really that like opaque. And I can't lie, that product really stank, and I was like, okay, no, that's gonna go. And the other product is this lip balm, and this is the shade Picnic Plum, but it's just, yeah, it's one of these products that are like kind of, the colors kind of blend together, which makes a lot of sense. I don't know, you can see that. It makes sense for them to try something different like this, but the formula was shite. I don't understand how most companies cannot make a good standard basic lip balm. Like, I just want something that's hydrating. Like, I'm sure if you cannot provide the colourful stuff, at least be able to provide something that's hydrating. Tell me why most lip balms are drying. My lips are already dry. They're crying for help. I don't need you to send me over the edge. You know what I mean? So yeah, that's a flop. That's also gonna go. And one of the last products before I go into like the eyeshadow palettes is this single eyeshadow from Colourpop. This was part of the Princess collection. It's just like basic sort of like white iridescent shade. This is I'm Wishing. I think this is based on Snow White, according to the apple as well. So yeah, this isn't the best. I've got another white that I use on top of my eyeshadow, but this one doesn't really show up at all, which means it's time for this to go. The last product is literally a bunch of eyeshadow palettes. I've been like trying to use things or using up my palettes each month, and I'll like rotate through. I've got like a whole pile behind me somewhere. Hopefully you can see a pile behind me. But I keep a pile out of palettes that I want to kind of use and rotate through. And at the end of the month, once I've used these palettes, I kind of make a decision on whether or not I want to keep it or let it go. And over the last couple of months, these are the 4 I've decided to let go of. So start off with the smallest one first. This is the Lost London Vampire Diaries Love Sucks palette. The reason I'm getting rid of this is it's not like necessarily the best formula, and I don't really see myself ever really gravitating towards this particular colour. Also, if I'm going to use a purple eyeshadow, I'm not going to use this formula. If I'm going to use that taupey colour at the top right, I'm not going to use this. If I'm going to use that colour, I'm not going to use the product. These colours, I'm not going to use this palette. The black is rubbish in here as well. So, like, overall, this is not the best product. And even though it would have been really easy to hit pan on all of these shades and, like, kind of be like, oh my god, I've done this, it's not worth it, because I know I'll just drive myself crazy. And with the formula being so like shite, there's like no point in me keeping this, you know what I mean? So yeah, that's like a flop and it's gonna go. And I'm really like questioning whether I should ever like buy Lotte London again, because this was not it. I'm also going to be getting rid of this Odin's Eye Saga of Freya palette. There's nothing wrong with the formula. I think the formula is great of these products. It works really well. This is the color story. I'm trying not to like blind you guys with the mirror side, but this is the color story. It's beautiful. The problem is I don't really see myself gravitating towards this particular palette. I have so many other palettes that I think I would definitely pick over this one, and I already have so many palettes as it is that I don't really feel like I'm necessarily going to be missing this color story in my collection. There's like a couple of browns in here and a gold. I don't really wear gold eyeshadows. There's like a peach. I don't really use peach that often. There's like an orangey red. Don't really wear reds. So a lot of these colours I'm not really going to wear. There's maybe like 2 shimmers in here and 1 matte that I would probably keep it for. But again, I feel like that's kind of like a waste of product when I think somebody else might actually enjoy this palette a lot more than me. So this, it's going to leave my collection. The next palette I decided to let go of is this Sample Beauty palette. Again, there's nothing wrong with the formula of this product. I think the formula is fantastic. It's just, hopefully you can see that. Let me see if I can just kind of like, yeah. 2 shimmers that I like here, they're stunning, they're so beautiful. And there's a couple of shades in here that I really want to keep this palette for. But I feel like I have all of these shades anyway in other palettes that I'm more likely to keep and to use. And I feel like I don't necessarily need this palette. Also, if I ever use it, it's going to be a case of me having to kind of like be like, oh wait, I have that palette, like let me go use it, rather than oh my god, I want to use that palette today to make a look. So it'll kind of be like me having to force myself to use it. And I think that's a sign to let go of a product if that's what's going to be the case. So that's just why this is going to be leaving my collection. I do have another like Sample Beauty palette, which I love the formula of and I use it whenever I can. But yeah, there's nothing wrong with this. I just don't see myself ever like wanting to like gravitate towards the palette. It'll be more like, oh, I have that. I've not used it in a very long time. I should probably use it again. So yeah, I don't want to do that. So that's why this is just going to go to another home. And the last palette, and I think the most controversial one as well, is this Pat McGrath palette. Now, I just need to say the Pat McGrath formula is fucking phenomenal and I love it. It's worth every penny that you spend on that product because it's that good and it blends beautifully, it sits beautifully. I think it works really well on so many different like textures and stuff like that. And even though it's pricey, I think you definitely get the luxe feeling and the product quality is there as well. So I really do recommend Pat McGrath if you can afford it. The reason I'm letting go of this palette though is I feel like the shades are just so redundant and they're very repetitive. Like there's so many like pinks in here. I don't feel like I need that many pinks, and there's nothing in here that I can be like, oh my god, I really want to use this palette or like gravitate towards this palette. There's a bunch of golds and bronzes that I don't really use. There's like two mattes in here. Like there's not really that many colors I'm going to gravitate towards. There's like 2 or 3 colors in here that I would probably use, which is that one here. There's like green somewhere here and I think this color too. But there's no point in me keeping an entire palette when somebody else could use this and actually get get the love out of this palette that they deserve or they want. Again, this is a really good formula. I have no issue with the formula. The color story is nice as well, but I have so many pink palettes as it is, and there's so many shades in there I'm not going to use, like those golds and those coppers and those bronzes. I just don't feel like those colors kind of suit me and I don't really use them much, so I don't really see the point in me keeping this palette. But yeah, I think I've got one more and I might end up decluttering that like Christmas edition palette as well. She does release these palettes every Christmas or like holiday season, so if you wanted a palette that's a lot more affordable than the Mothership ones, these are like a really good option. But again, because I have like the actual Mothership palettes, I don't really feel like I need to have these side palettes. So yeah, I'm going to try and see if anybody that I know wants this palette, or I'll sell it on like Instagram or like Vinted, but we'll see about that. Okay, that was literally all the products I'm decluttering for the end of 2024. I feel like considering my last sort of like declutter wasn't that long ago, I think it was in July, and since then I've gotten like a better idea of the products that I have, and I actually enjoy majority of those except for the few that I haven't yet used. I am really happy with what my collection is looking like at the moment. Obviously it's really big and I need to work on that, but that's a whole other issue. That's why this is going to be a small declutter, and I think I prefer the smaller declutters anyway. If this is more the style of decluttering you like, which is finding out why it's been decluttered and like more kind of in-depth like this, please let me know in the comments down below, and I'll try to do more of these, or like I'll try to do my decluttering videos in that sort of style. So yeah, I hope you guys liked this video. Thank you so much for stopping by on my channel and checking me out. I'll catch you next week for another video. Bye.